Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today I'm going to be giving an informative speech on a favorite topic of mine, that would be Latin music. Latin music's a very broad term. We have very specific genres such as ballet funk, bamba, plena and merengue, boogaloo, bossa nova, calypso, cumbia, huayno and chica, tango, samba, and salsa. Now, there are some instruments that go into this that aren't exactly native to the U.S. in terms of recent music. Those are claves, the gyro, maracas, and the conga. Mostly percussive because most woodwinds have other origins. But getting into this, our main points will be tango, bossa nova, and finally we're going to conclude with a very nice composition piece, Ritmos de la Tierra. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting off with tango, the origin of the word tango, nobody really knows because it has a bunch of different interpretations. Granted, these interpretations do come from the variety of dances, such as the Argentine, the Uruguayan, the ballroom, salon, tango nuevo, the Finnish tango, tango appellado, and the show tango. Now, alongside with the many different styles of tango, our big picture evolved in two places at once, and that is Buenos Aires, Argentina, and the Montevideo, Uruguay. Tangos, speaking from a composition point of view, is written in either 4/4 time and 2/4 time, not that that really matters to any of you. But instruments consist of, it can be either a piano solo, or it can be a duet or trio consisting of flute, violin, and guitar with piano accompaniment. A couple of tangos that you might have heard would be La Cumparita por una Cabeza and Libertango. Moving on to bossa nova. Bossa novas can either be quite relaxed or upbeat. A relaxed one that you might have heard of would be Girl from Ipanema. Something to note is that a couple cornerstone people would be Antonio Carlos Tom Jobim and Luis Bonfa, did not pronounce his names correctly, but that's fine. Where the music that they composed, they did compose music for past films and movies. A couple of them, instead of repurposing the music that they already wrote, they had them the directors had them write entirely new pieces. So, like stated before, bossa nova can either be relaxed or it can be upbeat and fast-paced, such as Undercover Bossa by Jeff Jarvis. Some instruments to note, they are mainly written with guitar, but include piano, flute, saxophone, mainly tenor, trumpet, tambourine, bass, and drum set. Now, one thing to note that when people compose bossa novas are the amount of syncopated rhythms. Now, the syncopated rhythms are offbeat rhythms. An example of this is, when you're tapping your foot to a song or just lightly tapping your leg. Now, take that, but after every time you tap your foot, you clap after. That's a syncopated rhythm. The clap would be on the offbeat. But moving on from bossa novas and moving on to Ritmos de la Tierra, translated to Rhythms of the Earth, Ritmos de la Tierra was composed by Colombian composer Victoriano Valencia, which has 10 movements consisting of huayno, bambaco, danzón, soca, tango, parillo, porro, shande, cumbia mexicana, and paso doble. But for right now, we're going to talk about two of my personal favorites, cumbia mexicana and parillo. So starting off with cumbia mexicana, there's a little description down there just stating kind of a bit of inspiration behind it, like what it might mean or whatever. But basically, it derives from the two Colombian words, cumbia and pero, basically meaning that meaning this song takes rhythms from both the native country and then other tropical rhythms and putting it together. And these are typically found in Mexico, Venezuela, and Argentina. Then next for Parillo, we have another little description, but this one's a bit simpler, where its style comes from the melodic lines and accompaniment of the song. But finally, in the conclusion, to do a recap, for tango, we talked about the different interpretations, the instruments, and some popular songs. For bossa nova, we talked about a bit about the history, the difference between the relaxed and upbeat, and then the instruments that make up this. And then for ritmos de la tierra, we discussed what it was, parillo, and cumbia mexicana. Thank you for listening. I'm hoping you learned at least something here. Thank you.